Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Delgado Kloos. I come from Spain. I come from Madrid, from the University Carlos III de Madrid. And I'm going to talk about the problem we had, as many universities probably in Spain and around the world have, is what you do when the freshmen come to university. In theory, they have the prerequisites to start any particular course. They know the physics, they know the math, they know the chemistry, but this is in theory. In practice, we know that there might be some gaps here and there. So what we have been doing, and I'm talking about last 10 years or so, is, for instance, this is the Physics 1 in the fall, Physics 2 in the spring. So we had a remedial course for preparing the students in order to fully understand the two other courses. So August in Spain is closed. There's nothing happening. So in September, normally the first semester started at 20-something of September. So we had 3 weeks of time for this preparation, for the refreshing course. But then in Spain, the calendar was changed, and we started the 10th or the 7th of September. So we only had 1 week for the refreshing. And there was a lot of content to be refreshed. So we saw that this face-to-face Physics 0 course was not enough to cover the whole content. So what we did, and this I'm talking about now 2011, so in order for preparing for the next year, so we decided to have an online course in August. So the students were on holidays, at the beach, whatever, but they could follow some content in physics or STEM in general. As I said, I'm talking about 2011, and we were preparing for the August 2012. So what did we do then? We took the Khan Academy platform. The Khan Academy platform was then open source. We combined it with single sign-on with a Moodle, which are LMS, and we had professors in physics prepare contents a la Khan, videos a la Khan, exercises, parameterized exercises with hints for the Khan Academy platform. As I said, we just took the platform, not the Khan Academy website, not the content. The content were from our professors, but we took this platform. And then we had the students looking at these videos, doing these exercises during the summer, during August, with some gamification elements, with a social component, and also with some feedback information in terms of analytics for the professors in order to prepare for this face-to-face part. Face-to-face part took in short 10 days or so period place in September. So what was the advantage of this? That there were these Khan-style videos of theory or of practical exercises, so the student was in control to follow this content. They could do these parameterized exercises with hints, immediate feedback, the importance of feedback, the importance of gamification, immediate rewards, the importance of learning with others, and this analytics so that the professors would have information for the face-to-face part in September. Well, we saw that the effect was good. On Physics 1, well, the very good and the good students, we didn't see any improvement at all. They knew already the content, which was good. But the medium students had an incredible improvement. The marks, the grades in Physics 1 improved a lot. The bad ones didn't do well at all. So it was the medium students who improved. So this is Khan Academy platform. This is an open edX conference, but we are talking about 2011. There was no edX, no open edX, no Coursera, no Udacity, nothing. So this was the environment. We had the development environment, and then we had to deploy it, and we had this single sign-on combination with Moodle. So this was August 2012, and then we learned that in September 2012, it was discontinued as open source. The platform existed, we had taken it, we had adapted it, but it was closed. There were no updates to the platform, there was no community. So we decided on the next year, 2013, and after that, 2014, to continue, because we had invested in all this platform, all this number of things I will explain now. On the other side, Open edX was released in June 2013. So what we decided to do is, after this pilot in 2012 with physics, we continued 2 more years with a Khan Academy platform in these 3 subjects. But in 2015, we changed to Open edX. And what I'm going to present now is to compare the experiences, the results, what is better here, what is better there, what did the students learn better in one or the other way. So a few features. So there was no personalization at all. There is actually no support for the concept of a course. We had to do some tricks when we changed from 1 course, physics, to 3 courses, chemistry, math, and physics. We had to do some tricks in order to have actually 3 Khan Academy platform instances. The students accessed through Moodle, but there were 3 different instances, each for each of the courses. There was no extensibility at all. With Open edX, there were also some problems, because there is support for separate courses. The concept of a course exists, but it's not open, because this will run as a SPOC, as a small private online course, not as a MOOC for the world. The students had to pay even some small fee to attend these courses. So we had to do some enrollment control, which we programmed ourselves in order to access to this SPOC website for the students who were registered at the university. But this development was done so that we could have our own students registered in these courses. Well, let's compare now a few more features. For the videos, the same. It's in YouTube, just an URL, so there's no big difference. For the forums, well, in the Khan Academy platform, there's no proper forums, but since we had combined this with Moodle, we used the forums that are available in Moodle. You could also, in the Khan Academy part, you could have some comments on videos. Here, this is much more developed, and a lot of learn interaction can happen through the forums provided by Open edX. Let's talk about the assessment part and how this assessment could be authored. Well, in Open edX, there's a WYSIWYG tool, which makes it easier to make the assessment. On the Khan Academy platform, there was no WYSIWYG. This is basically a combination of HTML and JavaScript that you have to master in order to produce assessments. Well, since this was a problem, what we did is to create a web-based WYSIWYG tool. So this is the result, Khan Academy. This is the HTML. You see some JavaScript here, some HTML. And what we did is to have a web-based editor that allowed you to define parameters, because the exercises were parameterized. Every time you call an assessment, you get a different one. So these are these typed variables. You can define hints, etc., so that we have it a bit easier to create this Khan Academy assessments. Next topic, gamification. And this is a big plus, in this case, for the Khan Academy. This is a well-defined gamification elements with energy points, with badges. Well, we changed the images for the badges so that we have some elements that are relevant to the university. This is one of the buildings. These are all buildings of the times of the King Carlos III. King Carlos III was born 300 years ago, so it's the 100th anniversary right now. So we used some local badges, but the students liked it very, very much. And we will see later on in the comparison that this has a big influence in what students do. So here, there's really no gamification. But since we are betting on Open edX for our further courses, what we are right now doing is working on an app to gamify Spocks, which we're going to deploy in a flipped classroom manner. Just to show you some of the things we're working on right now. This is a flip up. It's still under development in order to remind the students the videos that they have not yet seen. There's some rankings. There's some badges. This will be available from iPhone and Android, so that there will be notifications. All your classmates have seen the video. You have not. Do it before the next class, because it's important in the flipped classroom setting to be prepared, to come prepared to class. So we're developing this gamification app to help for Open edX. Now let's talk about learning analytics. I would say that Khan Academy platform has a well-developed, very thorough analytics engine behind. It's detailed and obvious. You could see the student, one particular student, did not solve well this exercise. 5 seconds later, he asked for a hint, and 2 seconds later, he did it well. So you can see the very details, but you have also good dashboards that give you an overview of what is going on. For instance, we could see that from one particular exercise, lots of students were failing. A simple exercise was to, if you have two vectors, you have to define or determine or find out the angle between these two vectors, and many students were failing. I said, why is this so? This is just an easy task. And the problem we identified just looking at this dashboard, a lot of reds there, is that since the vectors can be of any length, it's parameterized, can be also of length 0. And do you know what is the angle between a 0 length vector and any other vector? I did not know it either. No, it's 90 degrees. It's orthogonal to any vector. Well, it was not taught, and the students were having problems there. No? So we found out precisely looking at this dashboard. In both cases, there's analytics, but we wanted more, and we have developed additional software in order to provide more precise analytics dashboards and information. This is the one. This is the Khan Academy platform, the analytics that were existing. You could see progress reports by exercises. Each of these lines is a student, and these are the different objectives. You have a color, videos have been seen or not, etc. You have activity reports. You have goals. You have information for one particular student, how much exercise minutes, how much video minutes, what badges were obtained, the focus on which topic. So it's quite well defined, lots of information, nice dashboards. We did some additional tool, which we called Alaska. So it's learning analytics for Khan Academy, which we had some additional indicators. And we also developed a tool which we called Analyze that was presented last year at this conference in Wellesley about learning analytics for Open edX. And I will say a few more things about the new version which we just released. Let me first go to the Khan Academy. These were some of the additional dashboards we developed. For instance, we could identify the efficiency of the students, because it's not just the time it takes to do some exercises, to achieve some goals. No, it's not whether you achieve or not one particular goals, but also how fast you can do it. So this efficiency dashboard was developed by us. And we now moving over to Open edX. We have just released a new version for the Open edX analytics tool from our side, where we improved a number of things. We changed the color to better convey the information. It's now much more scalable than last year because we don't have big numbers, but we want it also to scale well if you have a massive amount of learners. We improved the processing just by doing a relative computation of new events. So in this way, we're also more scalable. and we adapted it also to the new releases, Cypress and Dogwood. It's available. I'm sorry that this down here. So it's available on GitHub. So it's available for anybody who want to use it. So let me show you a few screenshots. There's also a video which you can see, which explains this a bit in more detail. A few more details about this tool. The interface, so you can look at the results for all students altogether, or for particular students. You can select educational resources, one or more, and you can see the visualization, which is done with Google Charts of the exercises. How well this one student or several students have done. You can see also the grades, the total and some particular parts. You can see the amount of video watched, for instance, and we distinguish two things. One is a total video time, which can be more than 100%, because if you repeat one part of a video, then you have, of course, more time. So if the video is 3 minutes and you repeat it once again, then you have seen 6 minutes video. So this is the dark orange line. And the other one is the amount of different video parts you have seen. So this amounts to 100%, and this can be more than 100%. No? You can also select by students or all students. You can see also for each second whether it has been repeated or not. For instance, second number 70 has been seen 4 times. So you can see also for each of the students, or for all students, what is the repetition of video intervals. And we can see things like this. We look at these video events, play, pause, change speed sig from sig2. And for instance, here on second 55, there were a lot of sig2, they're looking forward. And on second 85, they do a lot of sig backwards. So something is happening here, maybe a concept which is more difficult to understand. So maybe you should look at this particular fragment and possibly explain things better or differently, so the interesting things you can see. This is for the whole class, and this is for individual students. We use this point distribution. So now we want to know how much does the platform affect the learning of the students. And we have some data set, small numbers from 2014, this Khan Academy, and for the only case where we have used Open edX. And let's see how the two compare and how the different elements, if gamification is better in Khan Academy, how does it affect learning? If you have maybe a nicer interface for looking at content in Open edX, how does this affect learning? So let's do some comparison. Well, I'll present this box plot where we have the interquartile range from 25 to 75 in this box, and there might be some outliers which are represented by dots. So this is the comparison. So in green is always Khan Academy, and in this red is Open edX. So you can see such things as, for instance, problems in video accessed. Open edX have more problems being accessed than in Khan Academy. And in videos as well. So maybe the better interface, the better usability helps in having students do more problems and look at more videos. Abandoned, well, maybe you start a video, but you abandon it very soon. You see that also the percentage of videos abandoned on Open edX is also higher. So even if they accessed it more, they abandoned more. But in problems, it's less in OpenEdX than in Khan. So more problems accessed and less problems abandoned. This is a plus for OpenEdX, whereas with videos we don't know. Then, so there are a number of things we have been comparing programs on the platform, and we saw that statistically significant more progress, better progress in OpenEdX, both for problems and for videos. So the platform helped in better advancing in both of the aspects. You see that the red is always higher than the green. We have here more other kinds of graphics that we have developed also if you want to see an overall. So we have seen here more green, for instance. Well, and more indicators, time in problems and videos. Again, statistically significant difference. In OpenEdX, more time invested both in problems and in videos. You see that the red, the average, and the box are higher than here. So again, time spent on problems and videos is much better in OpenEdX than in Khan Academy. And the efficiency. This is interesting. So we have seen that there's a higher probability in Khan Academy one of the features of Khan Academy is this idea of mastery of Salman Khan, so that each exercise you have to repeat 8 times in order to master really one particular thing. No? And this 8, the number 8 is hardwired into the system. It's very difficult to change. No? So we had the students really made them repeat similar exercises several times. So this mastery has a good effect on the understanding of things, but a bad effect in the sense that maybe the student didn't want to do this so many times because they get bored. So and this has an interesting effect in the time spent on exercises on videos. Higher probability, the temporal efficiency in Khan Academy is higher, probably to this repetition of similar exercises, because they got mastered and so they got better in it. There are many outlier students in Khan Academy, maybe because they tried to solve exercises fast and efficient, maybe to get these energy points, to get these gamification elements that were available there. So the students just wanted to do exercise in order to get more points. And so this had an important effect on the behavior of students. And they solved easy exercise repeatedly in order to get these more badges. And, well, and the students' temporal efficiency is similar. Another aspect we looked at is the unreflected behavior. What is unreflected behavior? We classify submission as unreflective when the student answers incorrectly in less than 10 seconds after accessing the problem or between 2 attempts. So sometimes the students just do something to see what happens. And we saw that in chemistry, OpenEdX had more unreflective behavior, whereas in physics and math, it was the other way around. Higher unreflective behavior in Khan for physics and math, and higher in chemistry for OpenEdX. So this is a strange behavior that we found out. So now summarizing all these different analyses of the learning analytics indicators, we have seen that there is more use, more time spent on the platform, and a better progress of students when using OpenEdX rather than Khan Academy. Maybe this is because OpenEdX is more user-friendly than Khan. Many students in Khan have completed all the exercises, so these gamification features might motivate them more. And I think this is something to learn for the OpenEdX community, to devote more time, more software, more features, which might be useful in OpenEdX. It seems that more OpenEdX students have completed all videos than in Khan Academy, and a higher amount of students of Khan Academy in the low problem and low video progress part. So just to look at it a little bit, to do something is higher in Khan Academy. So altogether, if we look back now to these 4 years, 3 of Khan and 1 of OpenEdX, we see that, well, this gamification element has its pros and its cons, because sometimes students do things unreflected, but also promotes doing more and achieving higher mastery, which is good. It has very good analytics. For us, it's important to use OpenEdX rather than Khan Academy because it's compatible with edX. We're a member of edX.org, so we use the same platform, the same kind of content, both for MOOCs outside and for our SPOCs. And, well, and it has a number of advantages that we don't have in Khan Academy, which is not existing anymore as an open source, and it's not extensible, etc. And here we have much more. So altogether, and I'm coming to an end now, I think it's good we started with Khan Academy in 2011. There was nothing existing. It also helped us in promoting the culture in our faculty to produce video and exercise content. Now OpenEdX is a clear decision for us because of our compatibility with the MOOCs and because it is better. However, there are some things to learn from Khan Academy, in particular with respect to effects of gamification. And I think in the future, what we're going to do, and I also invite others to do, is to prepare better OpenEdX for on-campus use, and to help to boost engagement. And as I said, we have a consistent ecosystem for both MOOCs and SPOCs. So thank you very much. I'm open to questions now. Yes.
How different was the content between 2014 and 15 that the students?
Yeah, the videos were basically the same. There were improvements, corrections, but there was not much difference in terms of content. For the assessments, there were some differences because of the things the platform allowed. So, of course, one thing was this repetition by 8, which were compulsory in Khan Academy, and we didn't have it there. So we replaced this by having similar exercises. So we made more, or the faculty did more exercises, to compensate, which was not so much repeating the same exercise, but to have a wider variety of exercises. In terms of what the platform allowed, so in both cases you have hints and you have parameters. The variety of exercise you have in OpenEdX is much higher. You could have drag and drop, you can have many other things, or you can program in Python something and you have it. But we did not do it. We did not take full advantage of what OpenEdX, this is the first year we have implemented, we basically taken it, a bit more exercises, but in the future what we can do is to have a much richer set of assessments. But, well, maybe because of the inertia, basically, first year we just took it over, and now we have to fully exploit the possibilities of OpenEdX. Yes, please.
How do you define efficiency in learning?
Is to achieve things, so to do things right in assessment, divided by time.
Okay, and how do you measure that time?
So basically you have an explanation of something,
right, and
then you do an exercise, and you can measure the time the students take to solve this particular problem, right? If you ask for more hints, you take more time, then you are not so efficient if you get it right the first time. Yeah. And with Khan Academy in particular, it's very well, you have all the information to very precisely know all these times. Right? Yes?
Have you seen any actual effects from, if you compare Khan with edX in terms of how good the students are now compared to when you were at Cons?
Well, this first graph where we saw that the students in the middle did much better. We have not done it yet because this is the first year. We have to, yes. I mean, it's different students, but we can compare whether the change of platform has improved the results in the subject that followed in Physics 1 and Physics 2, which is the interesting thing, whether overall the performance has been better. This is an interesting question, yes, definitely.
Do you use the same video format on Open edX as you did in Khan Academy?
Yes.
I.e. that you have the...
Well, we had both. We had a la Khan, so with a tablet. Yeah. We had also experiments with physics and chemistry, especially particularly interesting, to have a central camera and to do some experiments in electromagnetics, etc. It's basically the same. Yes, we same videos. Yeah, some improvements, some error corrections, but the same videos. Yes.
So what's your guess then for the higher completion rate of the videos on Open edX? Why would that be?
I guess it's the platform, the user interface, the user friendliness. It's interpretation, of course. Yeah. But it's the same videos. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got a question and a suggestion, please. So the question, excuse me if you answered this earlier, have the learner populations in both sides of the comparison been matched? So do you have the same, say, grade 6 here and grade 6 there, or were the courses open for public access on both?
No. Yeah. The setting is freshmen coming to university. So these are new students coming to university and who voluntarily paying access these courses on a closed setting. It's not open to everybody. It's just only open for them. And so there are, well, similar populations every year. It might be changed a little bit, but this is the population. It's closed and it's freshmen refreshing their knowledge of physics, chemistry, and math. Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion on the dashboards, I think to make these insights to boost their actionability, one interesting thought is to divide learners according to things you're interested in, like say retention or performance. So you would take people, for instance, who completed the course and people who did not complete the course, and then generate this view of the dashboard for each segment of learners individually.
Uh-huh.
I expect you to see certain questions where people who left the course early, for instance, scored bad, but people who persisted scored better, and these might shed light on potential improvements to the course design that might potentially improve retention. Similarly to performance, you can split people by final exam performance and do the same, and find patterns in video behavior or question taking or answer grades that are predictive of end of course performance and work.
I mean, here it's not a pure online course because there's the online part and then there's the face-to-face part. All students come to the face-to-face part, but the performance on the online part is some do all the exercises and some do a little bit of them, but so the concept of retention is a bit more difficult because all come really, they've paid for it and they come, but I think it's an interesting suggestion. Thank you very much. Yes.
It's great. It's kind of lucky, isn't it, that Khan Academy said no more open source because it made you invent something new. I wonder why you didn't just move over to Moodle and stop there. What made you go on to Open edX? You were already using Moodle for a piece of...
Yes, I mean, it's the LMS platform for the whole university. Yeah.
So what made you think we should go to Open edX and not just use Moodle instead?
Well, I think the number of things that are interesting in Open edX, all the variety of different kinds of assessments is great. And forums you have in both places, so there's no much difference. Yeah, it's basically the assessments. Yeah, I think of course you can.
You mean analytics?
No. Exercises.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Of course, you can embed videos also in Moodle. That's true. That's correct. But I think also the interface is nicer in Open edX. Yeah. Yes.
Do you think that there are certain kinds of students or courses where you think that Khan Academy would have done better than Open edX?
I think Khan Academy is more useful at the high school level. And maybe for math courses. At the higher level, you might, so when you want to learn to add or to etc., and when you repeat things many times, to achieve mastery, maybe at the higher education level is not so well adapted. So I think high school or middle school is Khan Academy is really very good. Yeah.
So conversely, do you think that open edX would be actually useful at the high school level?
I think it's key. I mean, open edX is like a field where you can implement many different methodologies, many different pedagogies. And Khan has already one pedagogy implemented in it. So I think it would be nice to have different pedagogies defined for open edX so that it can be suited for different levels of education. But it's still field where you can define it. No? It's not yet included in it. Yeah. Yes.
Are there any significant changes to the face-to-face portion of these courses in the past 4 or 5 years?
No, we're basically the same. Yeah, the same. Yes.
Maybe a nice experiment to, in the next year, have randomly half the students work on one and half the students on the other.
Yeah, well, this has a technical problem because you have to devote more resources. You have to go Google App Engine, so you have to pay for putting it up in Google, whereas here you don't have to. So it's also personal time of technicians and resources. Maybe it would be nice, but I think we will continue in open edX. Yes.
It's also a problem that you're comparing Khan Academy of 3 years ago with open edX of last year, right?
We only have 1 year since last year, so far.
What I'm trying to suggest is that Khan Academy itself may have progressed quite a bit since the closed system, the open system, right? Ever since they were closed.
It was closed, so we don't have access to any changes. So we are taking the platform as it was in 2011. So probably it's now much better, but we don't see it. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I have a follow-up question. It might have seemed silly for me to say, why didn't you just stay on Moodle?
Yeah.
But let me ask, when you decided let's get onto Khan Academy, was that because Moodle was boring you, or because it was the status quo, or what made you want to go to Khan Academy in the first place? Maybe you explained that up front and I forgot.
No, I mean we like 2 things: the gamification, which is really good, and the analytics you don't have in Moodle. So these 2 things I think are very valuable from Khan. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you very much. Thank you.